Welcome everyone, hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. Now, what is this? This is a new thing I'm starting called a news roundup, where if in a given day there's a lot of stock news and lots of things happening, especially with extremely popular stocks, I want to bring it to your attention so you can learn a valuable skill that I learned myself, which is always checking the news. You never know, especially, with dividend investing as well, sometimes your stocks may be directly affected by news. Could be company earnings calls, could be dividend cuts, dividend increases, everything. It's always good to have a wee look at the news. Now, the three companies I have for you today are Palantir, Nvidia and Tesla. Now, a lot of you may be very familiar with one, two or all three of these companies. I won't be doing a dive into any of them, just a quick glance over for anyone maybe unfamiliar with them and what's happening with them in the news at the moment. So, let's jump straight into Palantir as our first one. Ticker symbol PLTR. Now, I'm quite familiar with this. I used to own a few shares in this about 2 years ago. So, I didn't own them all that long. But they are a massive software company. And they work quite closely with the United States federal government. And they have a few principal software platforms. Palantir, Gotham, Foundry and Apollo enables a lot of software-y things. So anyway, what happened to them today? They are down. Share price was about $11.45 and today it plummeted 14%. Now, why was that? Well, if you have a quick look onto any news website today regarding them, they reported a second quarterly loss just before the bell on Monday that showed a loss per share compared with projections. Now, this can happen. Projections and all sometimes just fall flat. And for Palantir, unfortunately, it was the same thing. They lost a loss of 1% versus earnings of 3 cents that was meant to be expected. However, their revenue did rise, so that was some form of a silver lining. Again, another thing with any earnings call, there's always some good, there's some bad, although sometimes there is just bad news for some companies. But in this case, that was a wee bit of a silver lining. Okay, now, jumping on to the next one that some of you may be familiar with, Nvidia. Now, who are Nvidia? They are, again, a technology company specializing in computer hardware, including graphics cards. Any of you knew how hard it was to get a GeForce graphics card in the past 2 years will know all about Nvidia. And in the last year, their more or less meteoric rise from 2020, they were trading at about $72 all the way to a high of $315. Now, I have been wanting to invest in Nvidia for quite a while, but their share price, especially when it peaked out at $315, I'm not exactly one to jump onto the top of the wave. But then I noticed in the last day, they dropped from 189 down to 173. Now, why was that? Well, let's jump on over to The Verge, where you can find out that Nvidia's Q2 earnings, they aren't coming out for another 2 weeks. However, things aren't looking great. Their gaming revenue is down from $3 billion last year to only $2 billion this year. Now, when we're talking billions, you might be thinking, here, that's good revenue for any company. But when it comes to the share price and it comes to this, that is a problem. Now, strangely enough, this article actually mentions AMD has actually increased its gaming revenue, but that's because they do a lot of chipsets for the Xbox and the PlayStation 5. Now, I haven't actually tried to get a graphics card off Nvidia in the last while. I kind of stopped trying after trying to get a 3080 was near impossible last year, so I've just stuck it out with my 280. Let's have a wee look here. Does the job. Back over to Tesla. Now, Tesla is one of my favorite stocks. I'm not going to lie, I love the company. I love the cars. I've test drove a few of them and wish I could afford one. They are just great. They feel like a carnival or like a fun thing to drive, which is very rare to say. That it's a bit like a video game. You just put down the foot and the thing just goes. Electric cars, I suppose most of them are all like that off the go, but Tesla's, especially a Model S, it is great fun to drive. Okay, so what happened with Tesla today? They've actually announced a stock split. Now, I've seen this 3-to-1 stock split, and for a lot of people, you mightn't be familiar with what exactly that was, to be honest. Even at the very beginning, I'm not 100% familiar with stock splits. I haven't encountered too many of them. I've seen it passing in the news, but I thought I would delve in, and then obviously part of this video, tell anyone that may be unaware as to what it is, what of course a stock split is. So, we'll jump on over here to Barron's. By the way, any of these websites, I will have them all linked down below if you want to read the articles, but honestly, if you just Google either the ticker symbol or just Tesla, Palantir, Nvidia, and hit the news section at Google, bam, you get every article you could ever need. And obviously this is a constantly changing environment, so that's why these videos will be as short and sweet as I can make them. So Tesla here have recorded that they will be getting a dividend of 2 new shares. Now, dividend's a strong word. It would be a dividend if the new adjusted price starts to rise again, and technically you were given 2 shares for owning just 1. So the 3-for-1 stock split is, at the close of trading on the 24th of August, if you have 1 stock, you will be giving 2 extra shares. Now you might go, whoa, it's not exactly like that, because the share price will be adjusted for that. So technically you shouldn't really gain or lose anything, but that just all depends on how the market reacts to the stock split. Now today, it's actually up. Well, I say up. You're going to see it was up. It jumped. We were nearly trading at 913. And to give you context, it was we were trading at about 871. So it did jump about $40, but it, over the course of the day, rescinded all the way back down to 871, which means it's really only gained like 0.8%, 0.84%, so barely a percent. Whilst Nvidia, of course, it's down 6.25%, but it actually recovered a good bit during the day, down from a low of 172. Now, these 3 companies, I actually, at this present moment, I don't have a share in any of the 3. Tesla, I used to own a few shares. I actually sold them at a high and used the money for other investments, but to be honest, it's not that I really regret it, because it was a real high point when I sold them. I think it was at one of these peaks anyway at $1,200, which was a brilliant time to pull out. But I want to get back into Tesla because I have a lot of confidence in the company, and I only sold them because they were at such an exorbitant high, and I did think they would come down. Obviously not investment advice. But yeah, that's 3 companies and 3 bits of news. Hopefully that helped you out and you've learned something new today if you weren't aware of any of this. The Tesla stock split, I think the main reason for it is they kind of want to make the stock more accessible to other investors, because at the moment, well, if you think about it, if it's $871, it should kind of come down to maybe $200-300 a share, which is more accessible to most people, I'd imagine. As like, try and buy 1 share of Tesla, you need $871 or about £700 sterling to buy that. I think actually £750 sterling. But yeah, if it comes down to $200 or $300, then $150 to £200 would get you 1 Tesla share. Might be more feasible for some people. I'm sure there's other deeper market reasons as to why they're doing this. Most people see it as a bullish thing, so a good thing, because you don't do a stock split if you think it's going to go down. I think they're doing the stock split and it will go through the roof. I have no doubt about that, because in the long term, Tesla, their revenue, net income, Tesla's only getting started, in my opinion. So I will be looking in to invest in a wee bit with them. But yes, this is the first Laud Invest News Roundup. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.